Hello, everybody, and welcome to December Vitality Tune-Up Call. Hello, hello, hello. That is hard to believe that it's December already, yes? So we started 6 months ago, my goodness, in June, yes? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, my goodness, so much has happened, yes? So last month, we really started closing the year 2021 and really started focusing on the year 2022. So I really want to do that today, even deeper and further. And what I would love to do before that is really look at the time that we're in right now. We're in a very, very powerful time on planet Earth, in humanity, and year-wise. End of the year, the holy days are coming. There's no coincidence that we have holidays coming. Yeah, very special time of the year, not only for all of us to be coming together and hopefully slowing down a little bit and hopefully looking within and coming more from a place of love and gratitude and appreciation. But truly, when we look at the grid of planet Earth, and when we look at the sun connection with planet Earth, and the December, November, December, the end of the year, those are the times of the eclipses. Those are the time where the celestial beings are really activated in a more powerful and I would say yielding way, meaning there's a lot coming to us energy-wise that is supportive, that is inviting and welcoming. Yeah. So it is said that not only, was Jesus born in December, supposedly it actually happened different time, but the way we have come to really understand holidays is there is light that came onto planet Earth, and more light has been available to come onto planet Earth around this time. And it's a little bit the other way around. Yes, the sun is slowing down for our hemisphere. There's less sunlight when it comes to actual light, the opposite on the other hemisphere, right? But for our hemisphere, the light of the sun is actually decreasing and the amount of darkness is increasing. But what that really means is there is more time for us to almost close our eyes and to go within. And with that said, there is more light being shown onto the inner environment of who we are, onto our heart, onto the depth of the truth of who we are. And here we're back to the truth. Yeah. I have gotten my email yesterday, 12/12/2021. It's a very powerful day. And it's a start of sequence of very powerful days. So we're in this, there's multitude of timelines, but 12/21 to 12/12 to 12/21 is a timeline. Then also till 12/24, because 24 is another powerful day. So every time we have a month and we double the number, which is 24, that's a very powerful day. It's Christmas Eve. It's actually Christmas in Europe and many other parts of the world. And then throughout the holiday season until actually January 11th and 22nd, we have this grace period. Yeah. So literally from now till, the third week in January, we're in a profoundly powerful time. So that could be overwhelming. Yeah. And that could also be a very beautiful thing to realize and become conscious of. So hopefully, if there's any parts that we notice that are a little bit like what do I do? Like, how do I show up? Can I do what I need to do? Let's take a deep breath right there into those. and just relax and say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Just the knowledge and the consciousness is actually profound. Yeah. So we'll start with the knowledge and the consciousness that we are in time, that we can make a lot happen. And the biggest part with that is, can we actually take the pressure off? How do we do that? Yeah. So I'm going to move to the board and I'm going to share with you a few things. Let's start with the 2022 year. Yeah. 2022. So we have 3 2s, just like yesterday, we have 3 1s and 3 2s. Every time a number is double or triple, it strengthens the number. You can look at the year and you can look at, you know, what the year is bringing. It's actually bringing a lot of coming inward. Is bringing, number 2 is spirituality, is bringing a lot of focus. It's asking us to focus. But as I shared with you last time, the 3 2s, it's such a powerful forward movement. Yeah. This year, number 5, we have been in change. It's a year of change. Yeah, really, there's been so much. Yeah. And then coming forward is this movement that, just like the light coming on, it's almost like the wave, you know, like if we're on a sailboat and we get this beautiful wind, and we just go, and the sails are just open, and we're moving forward. That is the power of the year that is before us. The big question is, do we have a vision? Do we have an end goal? Do we have a, you know, like a GPS on our steering wheel as to, can we use the wind to really propel us forward to where we want to be, versus just let it kind of be the same thing as it always has been? And the truth is, the choice is really ours. There's power right there, right? The choice is ours. So let's look at 2, 2, and 2. Yeah, there's many ways we can look at year 2022. Truly, there's so many ways. But the really nice way I thought we could do that is, let's use the power of every single 2 to help us. Yeah. So let me get the pen and the paper. It's ready to go. 2022. The 0 has its meaning as well. That's for sure. Because the 2s are actually multiplying the 0. And that is where the spirituality comes in. So the beautiful thing about this, that we are body, spirit, mind, emotions, we are one, we are whole. And it really serves us, it serves our mind to help to separate them. So in a beautiful way, I don't know if you can see that, hopefully, we can take every single 2 and ask it consciously to fuel and propel a different part of our being. Yeah. So we definitely need our physical body. Physical body, that's our vessel, that is our boat, that is the ship. Yeah. And we want to have this vessel in the best condition there is. We don't want to have the sails broken. We don't want to have water coming in. We literally, the desire is to have the vessel as pristine as we possibly can. What comes here, and we have done this over and over through the month, really, and we started with, in June with the immersion, coming back to the body, coming back to the gratitude, coming back to the cleanses and all that. And truly, January, usually during the holidays, we do eat a little differently, and that's okay. But let's remember that the physical vessel is something that is carrying us forward. No matter what the goal, no matter what the target, it is the vessel that is carrying us. Hence, the big piece here that we really want to address. We started with that in June, and I'm coming back to it because it is so important and it is so forgotten. When we get busy, when we get buried into our emotions and in all sorts of things, especially at the end of the year, so much cleaning happening, so much preparation, visiting, all that. Let's have some, like every ship has a flag. Yeah, whether it's, the flag of the country, whether it's the flag of the name of the ship, Adele, like you see these beautiful boats in the harbor, they all have a flag. So let's have a flag. Whatever you create as your flag, it could be a picture you put on the wall. It could be a picture that you create. It could be something you write that you put right by your bedroom or in your bathroom, somewhere where we see it. Is the flag of the ship of our vessel is to remind us that every single day we want to tend to our vessel. And it could be anything, truly, like, for me, like for next year, something that we can do and that we're going to do. So I love the cold water. Yeah. So it's going to be plunges, either every day, every other day, a few times a week, but let's say plunges. It's going to be some physical movement. Physical movement. So whatever it is, you're walking, you're doing, yes, it's going to be on a daily or every other day basis. And you could do plunge one day and then the physical movement the next day. So it could be alternating days if we don't want to do both at the same day. But literally something, yoga, stretching, the tremors, anything and everything. And then the food, always there's something that the vessel needs fuel, and it needs clean fuel so it can get us far and for a long journey, economical. Yeah. So always the fuel, I'm going to call it fuel, that's actually beautiful. But whatever it is that you decide for your vessel, it's really important that we stick to it, that we have account buddies, somebody. What I'm going to do, what I would invite us all to do in January, so January 1st, I think is Saturday, right? So 1/1/2022. You see the power in there, right there, right? Because if we have 2, 2, 2, and then 1 + 1 creates another 2. So the day is 2, and then we have all these. So we literally have like 4 2s happening. That's a big day to like, okay, to put the stake in the ground. It's like, I'm going to do this. So what I would love to do for the first 6 to 8 weeks, every week we're going to check in. I'm going to do a little video, a little check-in. How are we doing today? How are we doing today? How are we doing this week? So remember in January, and I'm going to create a post on it, but remember every month has power days. In January, it's definitely number 1. January 1st, January 11th, also January 22nd. It's going to be a very powerful day. Yeah. So those days we for sure are going to check in. All right. 1st, 11th, and 22nd. I'm going to check in around that time. But let's check in January and let's literally just kind of like, okay, I'm doing this or I can do more. Okay. So we have the vessel number 1. Number 2. This aspect is huge. And it's the mental and the emotional part of who we are. This is huge, yeah? And then the third one is our spiritual self. And really what I mean by spiritual, it means so much. The spiritual, it's that connection with our higher self, with our intuition. So, with God, with universe, whatever feels true to you, but it's really connection to our truth. Yeah. And that is so much easier to do when we have our vessel going well, and when we have it going in the right direction. So the spiritual and the truth of who we are is actually the part, it is the deeper navigation, it is what will guide us forward. However, we gotta make sure that we can hear it through all the mental, emotional static, if you will. Yeah, this is our true north. This is our North Star. This is the guidance of who we are. This also, as we've spoken about, is the most, for the most part, buried and or not encouraged part of our world. Yeah, we've been asking to really focus on the mental, especially this last year. We have been really driven into the mental and the emotional world by all the fears, by all the data, by all that's going on in the world. We've been pulled away actually from the physical and from the spiritual into the mental and the emotional big time. So that, for the most part, for most of us, and everybody is different, but for most of us, that would be one of the biggest areas to really look into and focus on. So I'm going to move this forward a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. But here is what is available to us in this beautiful sphere of the mental and the emotional. There is an underlying cycle that is happening at all times. Remember when Susan spoke, she shared with us this beautiful, it's like a spiral, yeah? And I don't really know how to make a good spiral. But the idea is that the movement is upward, the movement is growth, the movement is, wow! How did that happen? Hang in there. Yeah, we're back. The movement is upward, yes. And every single part of the cycle, this is really, really interesting and really important for us. There's create, there's sustain. This is according to the work of Dr. Sumorder, and I'm sharing that because I really like that. It really helps with this mental, emotional aspect. Create, sustain, and there's destroy. And then there's void. Create, sustain, destroy, void. And they keep repeating. And then the movement is up. Yeah. So this could be anything, you know, we create first, and then it has its lifespan. Could be something really, really good that we have created and that is just beautiful. Whether it's, you know, we have moved into a home and now there's need to move into another home, or we have created something and now it's time to move into something else, or we could still be in the creating part of, you know, the cycle, or we could still be in the sustaining part of the cycle. And this applies to many parts of our life. What is happening most likely for many of us right now at the end of year of 2021? Some parts are in this destruction. And destruction in of itself sounds really, really like destruction sounds really bad, right? Like when I say destroy, it has this negative connotation. However, I would like for us to look at this in a way that only after something is destroyed, it can be something new can be created. And it usually is created after this time of void, this time of unknown, this time of really just being in the truth and being, and that is what the holy days are about. That is what this time between now and January, 11th, 22nd is about, is for us to understand that there's potential to destroy something that is no longer serving us. It is happening anyway, And if we can bring consciousness to it, it's that more powerful. And the more we're going to be able to really be in the void and understand that the void is where the answers come for the guidance of the forward movement. Yeah, the 20, so like imagine it's like a 3D picture. There's like this forward movement of 2022, right? We're working on the vessel. We are working on the mental, emotional, for the most part, static, that we really want to clean up and employ. And we are allowing in the part of the void for the truth, for the voice of the purpose, for the voice of our intuition to come forward and guide us. And really, the connection of all of this, the power of the year, is what gives us the strength to move forward. So I don't know if you can feel that there is so much, there's so much like an anticipation energy in the universe. And it is this powerful invitation of, you know, if we look at life, and I don't know if you've ever really kind of pondered on that, but why are we really here? Like, what is the purpose of us being here? Now, there's so many spoken and unspoken ideas about this. You know, the universe, it's actually, I've just seen this most amazing, this doctor, like astrophysicist, this like brilliant guy, is these studies that the universe is always expanding. It's always expanding from day one. It keeps on expanding. So the planet, you know, like we cannot really see it in our galaxy and in our quote unquote small part of the universe, really. But what's happening in the universe, there's more space in the universe. So the celestial bodies are actually being pulled further and further apart. So there's room. There's always room for something new. There's always, by the expansion, there's creation. So the beautiful thing is happening. We're being pulled forward. We're being expanded as we speak. And the power really come is, can I step into this consciously? Yay. So the big piece, you know, we've got this down. We talk about the physical body. It literally is commitment. So this part, we're not going to go much into unless you have any questions. But this is part of just commitment to self care. Yeah, to physical self-care. This part over here is a commitment to self-care, of being with our intuition. And what that means is just means time in quiet space. Quietude is time where we come within. Mostly breath is always, when the mind is too active, breath is the part that of our guidance system, of our being of who we are, that can bring us there easily. Remember Susan's talk, and come back to that, is the simple breath. Remember when we did our our 33-day immersion, we spoke about breath a lot. So always come back to that. These meditations, writing, journaling, coming back to the truth, allowing the intuitive essence of who we are to come forth. The biggest piece right here is what I'm going to focus on for the rest of our talk. Okay, beautiful. Mental and emotional part of who we are is something that has so much power. It has been focused on from day one of our life. It has been, the mind. We have to use the mind. It has been really stressed, like we gotta do the right things. We gotta focus. We gotta show up. And then the emotions have been kind of focused on as well, but in a way that instead of having them to be a part of our guidance system, yeah, they have been sort of looked upon as something not okay, like anger and fear and hatred and sadness are usually not okay. And then we're gonna move toward, joy and happiness and love. Even though love really is a state of being, it's not an emotion, it has been brought into a level of emotion. So we're going to elevate love and compassion back to a state of being, yeah? Because all of this, everything that's happening, fear, anger, sadness, underneath of all of that, the truth of who we are is the state of love and compassion. Falling over here again. Love and compassion, that is the truth of who we are, yeah, and that's in the background, and that is actually what's pulling us forward. That is this 3D pull of this year. It's the 3D pull of the universe. I don't know if you can feel that, but literally just like, yeah. And then there's this flag on our ship, and we're good to go over here. This part is potentially, if we choose to, where the place of most power lies for us, because it has been the place of potentially most, I don't want to say unconsciousness, but misguidance. That is a word. So we've heard all the, ask and you shall receive. And we have heard all the, think positive thoughts and, make the mind use the mind for good and all of those things. And then we've heard all this emotional part. So let's look at it in a way that could potentially help us come to appreciate this destruction. How can I appreciate destruction? I'm going to dare to say that most of us we have created by the mere fact of being human and being alive, we have mental and emotional cycles. We have mental emotional drives. We have mental emotional unconscious ways of behaving, these behaviors that are habits, they're habitual, that we have learned to really, for the most part, survive in life, for the most part, feel safe, and for the most part, feel okay and loved enough. Underneath, there's a lot of potential, not good enough, potential, not lovable, potential, all of that literally we have been kind of imprinted upon by society, by our parents and all of that. And we have worked with all of that, and most of us, we have done some work and some reconditioning and all of that. The idea is all that is beautiful, and underneath that, and we've spoken about that already, is that somehow something is wrong and not right, and I need to fix it, and something is okay, and therefore I need to move to that. So, a lot of times healing and mental emotional healing is about finding the not okay parts of us, or the unhealed part of us, or the unconscious part of us, and healing those, bringing them forward and healing them. Which was the underlying part of that, was the underlying aspect there is judgment, yeah? Like all that is based on judgment. Like one thing is not right, I must fix it. Part of me is, or let's say I'm doing something, like I know I'm supposed to be doing something good for my body. I'm supposed to be eating well. I'm supposed to be going to bed at a certain time. And I didn't do it for the last 3 days. And oh, dang, I failed. And I messed up again. So I'm judging myself right there. I'm supposed to be sitting in meditation every day for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I haven't done that for the last 3 days. It's like, oh man, I failed again. It's like, oh, so there's all this judgment. So the underlying part of the break, if you will, like, there's this pull forward into the unknown, get into the truth of who we are, this invitation to be who we are finally, like, oh, step into it and just let the wind just bring the forward movement into our sails. And there's this judgment underneath. It's like this breaks. It's like this heaviness, like the anchor, you know, it's like if we have an anchor that's still dropped down and we're trying to move forward, that literally is what's happening with this judgment underneath. So the idea about the mental, emotional part of everything that's happening right now in the world and in our world is, if I were to not judge anything, not even possible, right? But if I were to not complain about anything between now and the 21st of January, that's quite a lot. Okay, maybe not. Between now and the 21st of December, okay, maybe I can do that. Or for the next week, if I could not complain, because complaint has judgment embedded in it. And if I could really focus and not judge anything that I'm doing, anything that anybody else is doing, but especially anything that I'm doing, it's the easiest thing is to self-judge. It's the easiest thing to self-destruct. So we have been conditioned kind of to do that. And sometimes more as the female aspect of life, it's kind of like more, you know, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. So the biggest invitation really for December is we are still in December, even though we're looking at the pool of the 2022 and the power, the forward movement power. The biggest invitation to take all of this and really go into the mental, emotional part and understand that, yes, we're taking care of the spiritual, of the truth. We're taking care of our physical body the best we can, understanding that all of that is superimposed on the state of love and compassion. So when we struggle and when we are in like this default, sometimes literally just taking a step back and falling into like, okay, underneath is all a state of love and compassion. And then the invitation for the rest of this month, between for sure today, yesterday until the 21st, I'm going to invite us to go through the whole December and really kind of see what transpires coming January 1st. What transpires for us. But what I really would like to invite us, remember the cycle: create, sustain, destroy, and void. Create, sustain, destroy, and void. Destruction. I'm going to invite us to be open to some of these patterns being ended, destroyed, like the end of some of these patterns that keep us in the loop, that keep us stuck in this mental, emotional, not good enough, and judgment, and the pattern of like putting blame on the outside, like, you know, the world is all crazy right now and all these things that happen in the world, and the masculine is really like losing it, and we need to bring the feminine in, you know, it's all the fault of so and so, and man, I just don't know what else to do. And like all these cycles where we're putting this blame and judgment on the outside, yeah, and or turning it on the inside. It's like, oh my God, I should have done all of this. I should have been here already. Oh, I messed up over here again, and another year and I haven't done this, and another year and I haven't moved, and like, oh my God, everything is such a mess. Like, I am such a mess. Oh, do you feel the heaviness? Like no matter the wind, you know, no matter the force of the wind, like the anchor is so like the ship is highly likely not going to go anywhere, or is going to, as the anchor is going to just keep turning in circles between the outer and the inner, blame and judgment, beating oneself up, you know, complaining and all of that. So The invitation for this month, the tune-up for this month is naturally there's a cycle that's ending. Naturally, we're in the part of the year that's something is ending for the new to rise and to be created. Can I consciously allow myself to be focused right here and give myself permission to step out of this, give myself permission to let this cycle that we have been asked to recreate over and over and over, the cycle that we're invited into every single day in our society, workforce, health care, families, you name it. There's a cycle that literally is keeping us stuck, potentially. Can we allow ourselves to go right there in the middle of it? Just for like right now. Take a deep breath into our belly. Just really focus on our belly and then bring our attention to our heart. And consciously put ourselves into this cycle of this mental, emotional, I potentially allow myself to go chaos. It's like this, nothing is moving anywhere. It's this, I'm blaming over here, I'm blaming over there, I'm having this emotion over there, I'm kind of feeling this emotion, but I have a story on this emotion, and it's like the emotion is not really allowing me to propel me anywhere because I'm not using the power of the emotion because it's a story of judgment. Can you feel this? So I want us to really squeeze it, squeeze the whole body into this cycle. Exhale and squeeze into the cycle and just feel it pressing on you, and allow yourself to take a massive deep breath and just expand the cycle, break it, like combustion from the inside, the destruction of something that doesn't serve. It's like pull the anchor, pull the anchor, and just be for a little bit. You don't even have to put the sails up yet if you don't want to, because there's time of void where we really want to potentially just sit, just sit in the unknown and in the void and allow our truth and intuition to inform us first before we set sail to a direction. All of this is very broad and metaphysical, but for the most part, allow yourself to really bring it deep into what resonates with you. Yeah. And the biggest invitation, one more time, is all of this is already happening. The biggest invitation is to focus on, can we allow the parts of this mental emotional cycle that I've spoken about, can we allow them to be destroyed as part of the cycle? Yes. Now we can take a deep breath. That's a lot, yeah? Poof, that's a lot. The journey is on. The journey is on, and I'm just so grateful. There's so much gratitude for every single one of you. And just all the best to you, to your families, and many blessings. Take care and see you soon.